Welcome to another deep dive. You know how sometimes you're using like a brilliant new app or maybe a company launches some really innovative product and you kind of think, how did they even come up with this? What's their secret sauce?
Yeah, exactly. You wonder what goes on behind the scenes.
Right. So today we're going to pull back the curtain a bit on two really powerful mindsets that guide a lot of modern product development: design thinking and product thinking.
hmm
And these aren't just, trendy terms or buzzwords. They're actual frameworks that help teams build things people genuinely want, things that businesses can actually sustain.
That's absolutely right. And our mission for you today really is to give you a much clearer understanding of how these two approaches are different, where they overlap, and maybe most importantly, how they kind of work together in harmony. Think of it as maybe a shortcut to being properly well-informed about the strategic thinking behind the products you use every single day, and maybe even how you could apply some of these concepts yourself. We've got quite a lot of interesting ground to cover here.
Okay, sounds good. Let's dive straight in then. We'll start by getting to know each one on its own, and then we'll see how they kind of dance together.
Right.
So let's kick things off with design thinking. Now, when many of us hear design, we probably think visuals, right? Aesthetics, how something looks. But here, with design thinking, it's about something, well, much more fundamental, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah, it's much broader. Design thinking is fundamentally about human-centered problem solving. It starts with this core idea. If you deeply understand people first, their needs, their struggles, even their aspirations, teams can create far better or more impactful solutions.
Okay.
Its ultimate goal really is to, well, create products that truly resonate with the target audience. And crucially, to make sure you're solving the right problem in the first place. Not just any problem.
The right problem. Okay. So when we say human-centered, how deep does that actually go? Is it just about like sending out surveys, or is it something more? What are the key principles?
Oh, it definitely goes much deeper than just surveys.
Yeah.
It really boils down to three core principles. First one, empathy and research.
Right.
Teams properly immerse themselves in the user's actual world. They don't just ask what users want, they try hard to understand what users do, what they say, what they think, and how they feel.
So observing too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It involves in-depth interviews, direct observations, maybe diary studies, things like that, all to uncover those real pain points, the unspoken needs, and the underlying motivations. It's
Yeah.
really about trying to get into someone else's shoes.
So really kind of living in the user's world for a bit, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Precisely. Then second, once you have those rich user insights, it's about iterative ideation.
Iterative ideation.
Yeah.
Huh.
So teams brainstorm really widely. They have these sessions where, no idea is too outlandish at the start. Just get all out there.
Right. No bad ideas at this stage.
Exactly. They sketch, they might mock things up, build prototypes of multiple concepts, and they're constantly asking, does this genuinely address those user needs we found? It's very creative, iterative exploration. Prototypes get tested quickly with users, refined, and then tested again. It happens in these rapid cycles.
And I imagine this isn't just a one-shot deal. It's like constant learning.
Exactly right. Which leads us straight into the third principle, continuous testing.
Okay.
Design thinking really stresses early and frequent user testing. They build what are often called low-fidelity prototypes very rapidly. These are basically quick, kind of stripped-down versions or even just sketches of a concept.
So not the finished product yet.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Just enough to test the core idea, validate assumptions, and see how users react. It's all about that idea of failing fast to succeed sooner. Find out what doesn't work quickly so you can iterate towards what does.
So it's this relentless loop. Learn, refine, learn, refine. Our sources even map this out into phases, don't they? Like empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and then implement. Sounds like you're constantly checking back with the real people you're building for.
That's spot on. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, maybe a design thinking workshop starts by interviewing users about their daily fitness routines. That's the empathize bit.
Okay.
You might learn about their struggle finding quick workout plans after work because they've got limited time, low energy.
Right.
Okay, that's a problem you can now define.
Right.
Then your team sketches loads of interface ideas for maybe a new app feature to tackle this ideation. And finally, you build a quick, maybe clickable mock-up, a prototype to test with a few users.
Got it.
And this whole process helps make sure the final product is usable, it's intuitive, and hopefully truly innovative because it solves that real problem you uncovered.
That's a really clear picture of design thinking. It's definitely about that deep user understanding and creative problem solving. So let's pivot now to product thinking. It sounds, well, related, but also maybe quite distinct. What's at its core? How's it different from what we just talked about?
Right. So if we kind of zoom out a bit, product thinking is more of a holistic, strategic mindset about building and evolving products over time. While design thinking often zooms right in on the user's specific problem and the best solution for them,
Mm-hmm.
product thinking takes a step back. It looks at the product as a whole system. It considers not just features in isolation, but how the entire offering must solve real problems and deliver, sustainable business results.
Yeah. Okay, so the business side, that comes into play much more explicitly here, yeah. What are the key aspects then?
Yes, that's probably the most crucial differentiator. So first up, problem solution fit within a market context.
Okay, market context.
Yeah. It starts by deeply understanding the problem space, not just what users need, but why they need it, and really importantly, how that fits into the broader market. Are there competitors? What's the market size? Instead of just asking what feature should we build, actually, it asks, okay, what problem, if we solve it well, will provide significant value for users and be valuable for the business? Is it actually worth solving?
So a much broader, more strategic viewpoint on the problem itself. Not just can we solve it, but should we solve it?
Exactly. Which leads to the second point,
Mm.
business and user alignment. This is where it explicitly tries to balance that user value with clear business goals.
Right.
Like one source puts it, you ask questions like, okay, does this solve a real problem? Will customers actually use it? And is it valuable for the customers and for the organization? The goal is always to ensure every solution, every feature moves key business metrics, things like user engagement, revenue, customer retention, and helps achieve that product market fit.
Product market fit, that sweet spot where the market actually wants what you've built.
That's the one. You need that for long-term success.
So it's not just about building something cool, but something that actually, moves the needle for the company, makes it
Right.
viable. And I'm guessing this isn't just about launch day either.
Absolutely not. No way.
Yeah.
That brings us to the third key aspect, the life cycle mindset. Product thinking isn't just about getting to the initial launch, not at all. It encompasses the entire product life cycle, from conception and launch to continuous updates and possible expansion.
The whole journey.
The whole journey. Product teams are constantly gathering user feedback, looking at market data, and using that to refine the product roadmap, extend the product's life, and adapt the strategy over the long term. It's continuous.
So it's really a long-term strategic view, needs clear goals, metrics, and a plan that's always kind of evolving.
Precisely, yeah. In practice, someone thinking like this, a product thinker, they'll define clear metrics, clear goals early on. They'll often build minimum viable products or
Mhm.
MVPs.
Right, MVPs, the stripped-down version.
Exactly, the basic version to test a core hypothesis quickly. And they use data, lots of data, to make decisions about what to do next. They're always looking at design work, at features, through that strategic lens, making sure every piece ties back to the bigger vision and creates measurable value for both the organization and its users.
And I bet the sources lay out some key stages for this approach too, just like with design thinking.
They do, yeah. It often starts with problem identification, but with that market lens. So researching markets, researching users, maybe using tools like personas or that jobs to be done framework.
Ah, yes, jobs to be done. What job is the customer hiring the product for?
Exactly. It helps you understand the fundamental reason behind the need. Then comes opportunity analysis. This is where you assess, okay, what's the market size? Who's the competition? What's the potential business impact? Basically, is solving this problem actually worth the investment, considering the likely ROI and, potential market share?
So it boils down to, is this a problem that makes business sense for us to solve? Because you could find a great loser problem, but if there's no real business opportunity there, it's just not sustainable.
You've got it. That's the hard truth sometimes. Then you move into solution development, iterating on product ideas, but always, always with a focus on whether each solution actually moves the needle on those business goals you set. And you have to consider constraints, resources, technology, time. It's definitely not about just adding features for the sake of it.
Right, no feature bloat.
Exactly. And finally, launch and iteration. After you build and launch, you use those KPIs, key performance indicators and analytics, plus ongoing user feedback to continuously improve the product. Post-launch is very much seen as part of development, not the end of the line.
Okay.
So a product manager might release, say, an initial feature set as an MVP, measure how users engage with it, look at conversion rates, and then systematically iterate, focusing on the features that actually drive the most value based on that data.
Okay, wow. We've laid out both design thinking and product thinking pretty clearly now, I think. It's obvious they both care deeply about the user, but that emphasis is definitely different. If we had to really, like, nail down their core contrasts, what would they be? This feels like an important question, doesn't it? How do these two powerful ways of thinking truly differ?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting because even though they work together, understanding their distinct focuses is key. Sometimes they can even feel like they're pulling in slightly different directions if you're not careful. Our sources give a pretty good breakdown.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, first let's look at their core focus. Design thinking, as we said, really prioritizes the users and their experiences. It's asking, what problems do people face, and what creative solution will genuinely delight them?
User delight.
Product thinking adds that crucial business dimension. It asks, okay, which of these problems, if solved, will bring sustainable value to both the users and the company? See the difference?
Yeah, that and the company part is key for product thinking. Okay, what else?
Then think about their approach and goals. Design thinking is very iterative, exploratory. Teams experiment freely. They prototype rapidly to refine ideas, starting really from that raw user data to spark innovation.
Right. Very open-ended at first.
Product thinking, on the other hand, is much more strategic and goal-driven. It sets measurable objectives like those KPIs we talked about and uses data to guide every step, making sure features directly support a larger business strategy. More structured, maybe.
Got it. Strategic versus exploratory. What about time frame?
Good question. In terms of time frame, design thinking is often heavily used right at the beginning, at that fuzzy front end of projects. It's great for understanding complex problems and generating initial solutions. Product thinking, though, its scope is the entire product lifecycle, from way before the concept even exists, with market research all the way through launch, updates, growth, maybe even sunsetting the product eventually.
Yep.
It's focused on that long-term viability and growth.
Ah, okay. So design thinking is maybe more project-focused at the start, while product thinking is lifespan-focused. What about where you can apply them?
Right. The scope of application is different, too. Design thinking is incredibly versatile. You can apply it to almost any challenge. Designing a service, improving an internal process, tackling social issues, not just digital products.
Interesting.
Product thinking is generally much more specific to, product development and management. It's really concentrated on bringing products to market successfully and managing their entire journey.
Okay. And finally, the outcome. What's the end goal?
Yet, the outcome. The main deliverable from a design thinking process is often a user-validated prototype or maybe a really creative tested solution concept. It ensures you build the right thing for users. It answers the desirability question.
Right.
The deliverable of product thinking is ultimately a successful product in the market, one that meets market needs and achieves business targets. It ensures that the solution is sustainable, viable, and profitable. It answers the viability and feasibility questions, too.
That's a brilliant distinction. So, putting it simply, design thinking helps you figure out what to build for users, making sure it's desirable, and product thinking makes sure it's actually worth building for the business and can survive in the long haul viability and feasibility.
You nailed it. That's a great way to summarize it.
It really sounds like they're two sides of the same coin then. Or maybe two absolutely essential tools in the same toolbox. You probably need both.
Oh, absolutely.
But the real magic, I guess, and what our sources really highlight, is when these two powerful frameworks actually work together. Can you maybe walk us through a practical example of how that synergy plays out, like in a real project?
Yeah, definitely. And what's fascinating here is how complementary they are.
Yeah.
They really shouldn't be seen as strictly sequential, like do design thinking, then do product thinking. It's more fluid.
Okay.
So let's imagine you're a product manager. Maybe you're working on a new feature for a popular fitness app.
Okay, got the scenario. Fitness app feature.
Right.
How would you start bringing these two mindsets together?
Well, you'd likely begin by leaning pretty heavily into design thinking for that initial empathy and ideation. Step 1. You immerse yourself in your user's world. You conduct interviews, maybe observe their workout routines, look at their existing logs.
Back to the user's shoes.
Exactly. You might discover, let's say, that many users struggle to find quick, effective workout plans right after work because they're short on time and energy. That empathy phase reveals a genuine, maybe unaddressed user need.
Okay, found the pain point.
Right. Then, from there, you lead a brainstorming session. Your team sketches out various feature ideas. Maybe it's a better calorie tracker, maybe social sharing features, or maybe a dynamic workout generator that adapts to their time constraints. You encourage wild ideas first, no judgment. Then you create some quick, low-fidelity prototypes of the most promising concepts, and crucially, you test them with actual users. Get feedback, refine the designs based on what they say and do. This whole creative cycle, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, ensures the solution you're honing really solves a real problem for the user and feels intuitive and desirable.
So you've used design thinking to arrive at this great user-validated idea. It resonates. But like we said, an idea, even a brilliant one that users love, isn't a full product yet. This is where product thinking really steps up, right?
Exactly. Now you've got these user-validated ideas. This is where product thinking guides the strategy and planning. Step 2, if you like. Now you have to ask the harder questions. Okay, which of these ideas that users liked will actually meet our overarching business goals?
Right, the business reality check.
Precisely. You consider the company's strategy. Maybe the goal is to grow subscriptions or increase daily active users. You look at market trends. Perhaps you realize that integrating, say, a social challenge feature where users invite friends to compete has the potential to significantly boost engagement metrics like daily active users and drive subscription conversions.
Connecting the user need to a business outcome.
Exactly. So you then define clear success criteria, maybe aiming for a 15% increase in daily active users, a 10% uplift in subscription conversions within 6 months. You plan out a minimum viable product, MVP, the simplest version that lets you test this hypothesis so you can measure against these key performance indicators, or KPIs.
Okay, measurable goals.
Very important. Then you schedule the development work, maybe in sprints, those short, focused work periods, always balancing your available resources and the technical feasibility. And crucially, you absolutely don't stop at launch. You plan to rigorously track analytics, gather user feedback after launch, and use that to iteratively improve the feature in future updates. That's the product thinking lifecycle in action.
That makes perfect sense. It's not just about building it, but making sure it actually works for the business and keeps getting better. But do these two approaches really happen neatly one after the other, like step 1, step 2, or is it more messy in reality?
Oh, much more dynamic. That's the key insight, really. Step 3 is continuous iteration, mixing both mindsets. In practice, you're often cycling fluidly between these two approaches. It's not linear.
Okay. How so?
Well, maybe user tests on your MVP reveal an unexpected usability issue or a new insight about user motivation. That might send you right back to more ideation and prototyping. That's design thinking again.
Right. Back to the drawing board a bit.
Or, conversely, maybe new business data comes in or a competitor launches something new. That might force you to reprioritize which features to focus on next, or even pivot the product direction slightly. That's product thinking, reacting to the market.
Okay, so it's a constant dialogue.
Exactly. Throughout the whole process, you're constantly asking both types of questions, often simultaneously. Design thinking questions like, what do users love or struggle with here? And product thinking questions like, how does this feature align with our strategic metrics and market position? It's this constant interplay that ensures your creative, desirable solutions are also viable, feasible, and ultimately strategic.
So by the end of this whole kind of looping process, the product should really integrate both mindsets, shouldn't it? It's got that empathy-fueled design, but it's delivered in a way that drives tangible business value and has a real chance of market success. It sounds like a truly robust, well-rounded approach.
It really is, yeah. As one expert, we looked at notes. Design and product thinking work hand in hand. They see product thinking as focusing on that holistic problem identification within the business context, and design thinking providing the engine for detailed, user-centered feature solutions. So, putting it simply again, design thinking helps guide what to build from the user's perspective, ensuring you build the right thing that people want. Product thinking guides how and why it should be built from that strategic, sustainable perspective, ensuring you build the thing right for the business and the market.
Build the right thing and build the thing right.
Okay.
I like that. So, okay, wrapping this up. What does this all mean for you listening, whether you're actually a product manager, maybe an entrepreneur, or honestly just someone curious about how successful things get made? It seems like if you're involved in any kind of project, not just building apps, understanding these two frameworks could be incredibly powerful.
Oh, absolutely. For anyone really interested in how things get made successfully, I think mastering both approaches is pretty key these days. Design thinking ensures the product is wanted. It helps you, like we said, build products that people actually want to use because you've centered the user throughout the whole development process.
Right. Desirability.
And product thinking ensures the product is valuable. It aligns those features with the business strategy, ensures market fit, and thinks about sustainability and growth. Viability, feasibility,
They really are like having both a compass and a map for product development, aren't they? You need both to get where you want to go. So a balanced approach might involve what? Consciously switching hats, using things like design sprints and deep user research to drive innovation and empathy,
Hmm.
and then applying tools like product roadmap planning and OKRs, those objectives and key results, specific measurable goals to keep the team aligned with the bigger company objectives. And underlying both is that constant iteration and feedback loop.
Exactly. By skillfully weaving them together, teams can create solutions that users genuinely love and that truly sustain business growth. It helps you navigate that tricky path from just a vision to a successful launch and, importantly, way beyond launch day.
It's about building the right thing and building the thing right.
Wow.
Okay, so to leave you with a final thought to chew on, think about a product or service you use every day. Could be anything. Which of these thinking styles, design thinking or product thinking, do you feel was maybe most dominant in its creation? Or perhaps was one of them even conspicuously missing?
That's a good question.
And how might a more balanced combination of both have changed the final outcome, you think?
Yeah, something to ponder. Keep exploring, keep questioning those products around you. And thanks for diving deep with us today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.